Welcome back, everybody. This is the NASCAR 1-Up Retro Cup Series, round number 6. We're at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, this beautiful mile-and-a-half just northeast of the Strip. I am Griff McDermott alongside Kevin Carter for this race, and speeds here are going to reach absurd highs, up speeds of up to 207 miles per hour going into turn 1. And at those kinds of speeds, Kevin, what's the slightest mistake can lead to the end of someone's race? What can people do as the race progresses to manage the risk and try and keep all four wheels on the racetrack?
So yeah, there's a bit of a game about tire management, and as the tires wear, they're gonna start to lose grip, and if you make them small little mistakes, then you can lose lots of time if you back it down in time. But if you don't back it down in time, then you could risk some damage.
Now, we've got some really talented drivers on these mile-and-a-half scattered throughout the field. Some like Oxendine starting the top 10. Others like Bobo Jones starting the midfield. And we've got some at the very back of the pack like Justin Hutchinson, our Auto Club winner. With all these differing starting positions, with all these fast cars, what are the odds you think we'll see all three of them at the end of the field? And as well as many of the other drivers up at the top of the leaderboard, dicing it out on the final lap. We're going to see some really exciting racing, I bet.
Yeah, these drivers have been pretty consistent at these intermediate tracks, and so if they can cut their way through the field, then they should be in a good shot of getting a top 10.
And with qualifying taking place earlier today, we can give you the starting lineup for today's race at Las Vegas. Both Red Bull cars have put themselves on the front row for this race, with the 75 car in second place alongside your pole winner for today at Las Vegas, Jack Hallec, in a number 4. Row number 2 has Caden Atkins and Stephen Gale both in Dodges, while Nick Ortiz continues to have a phenomenal top 5 streak of qualifying going, all but one start in the top 5 in every race this season, and Duke Antek alongside him. Oxendine, as we mentioned earlier, will start 8th alongside Jack Porkins in 7th. Then Mike Honcho in 9th ahead of Brandon Beal making his debut in this series in 10th place. Jeffrey Finguy in 11th, as we mentioned earlier, Bobo Jones starting in the midfield in 12th. Christian starting 13th, and Caggiano in 14th. Maley in 15th, Freeman Jr. 16th, Cal Farrell 17th, Thomas 18th, F4 Ace in 19th, and Stephen Hunter rounds out your top 20. Row 11 has Jacob Johnson and the aforementioned Justin Hutchinson. Blair and Herman make up row 12. Mattiello and Xavier 25th, 26th. Row 14 has John Martin and King in the 18 Toyota. And rounding out your top 30, Seth Taylor and Sam Donato. 31st is Alexa Lutchen, 32nd is Josh Drake, 33rd in car 71 in front of Miles Mashburn in the 72, right behind him, and rounding out the grid is Paul McKinney in the Camping World Dodge. And with the field set via qualifying earlier today, the grid is now set. We're ready to go racing, and we'll join you for the race start next. And as the two Red Bull drivers lead the field, the pace car pulls onto the pit lane, leaving us in the hands of Jack Hallec in the number 4, leading us to the green flag. 2 Dodges behind them. The Red Bulls lead the field to the green flag going into the restart zone. The green flag is out, and we're racing at Las Vegas. Jack Hallec gets a great jump on his teammate in the 75, but as they dive into 1, it's still anybody's guess as to who can get the lead.
Looks like Hallec has gotten the better of him as you see Caden Atkins making a move over second place.
And you can see now the 75 losing ground to Caden Atkins, and Stephen Gale's ready to take a spot from the 75 as well. As Jack Hallec leads him off turn 4, he will see the flag, and he will lead lap number 1 ahead of his Red Bull compatriot as well as Caden Atkins.
It's like Duke Antek has gotten the jump on Stephen Gale, as Nick Ortiz is starting to lose places on the first 2 couple of laps as well.
Beal, however, moves up to 9th place on his first lap of competition, but Hallec continues to have a steady lead, if not a big one, as Antek gets past Atkins, and he's going to try and get past the 75 as well. Atkins losing ground to Antek, who could very well be a challenger in this race. He's quite solid on the mile-and-a-halfs, but we'll only see as now he loses a position back to Caden Atkins.
He's been free flying in the first couple of laps, but as you can see, he's starting to lose ground. But it's still very early days. He could still make that all back up as he is being attacked by Stephen Gale in the 52.
But now it's up to Caden Atkins to try and stop the Red Bull juggernaut at the front of the field. And it looks like after just 3 laps, we've already had a retirement, and it's Cal Farrell in the Netflix Dodge who fell victim to mechanical failure from winning pole at Pikes Peak, now being out of the race early at Las Vegas. Shame for the 96 team, but we'll see them again at Motegi.
That's very disappointing for the 96 team. You know, when it comes into considerations how much work goes into putting these cars together for a weekend, it's very unfortunate to see your car retire after the first 2 or 3 laps.
Now, this is the main battle on track right now, and it looks to be the battle for about 7th place between Ortiz, Honcho, Jack Porkins, and Brandon Beal making his first start in the Jet Blue Dodge. Nice looking car, and he's making it work. He's hanging in there in the top 10 right now, running in 9th position.
He's doing a pretty good job in his first ever race in the series.
And it looks like while we were gone, we've seen a lead change as the car number 75 has taken the lead from Jack Hallec. These look to be the first laps that car has led all season long, despite leading the point standings all the way. So good on them for finally managing to find the front of the field as he leads Atkins and Gale.
Yeah, it's unknown why the 4 lost all those positions, whether it was just a good on-track battle or if he made a mistake somewhere. But it's pretty cool seeing that 75, after not having a sponsor for most of the season so far, having a good race up in first.
First laps he's led all season despite being the points leader. It's an interesting setup for this team. And it appears we've got a caution on the racetrack. You can see some fresh tire smoke and tire marks in turns 1 and 2. And it looks like Henry Thomas, the last winner, actually the last 2 winners might be involved. Mashburn and Thomas. So the caution flag is out. Field coming to take the yellow. I'm curious now as to what happened to Henry Thomas to cause... Oh, and Hunter. Oh, Hunter just sent it in. No room for Henry Thomas anywhere. And you saw Mashburn did make a little bit of contact, but he'll be able to continue as well. Shame for Henry Thomas, though, trying to defend his win at Pikes Peak, but obviously this is not how he wanted it to start.
Yeah, when I talked earlier about people making mistakes and very little margin for error, even if it doesn't mess up your own race, it can still mess up races for your competitors.
On board now with Stephen Hunter, you can see he just didn't have much room space to go. You can see Thomas spinning out there. Hunter may need a visit with the officials when this race is done, but I have a feeling that's going to be most of the field at this point in time in the race, because everybody. And with the field now bunched up behind the pace car, we will carry you through to the restart. We will be right back from Las Vegas when we return racing to green. With the field now bunched behind the 75 Red Bull Ford, the pace car looks to be pulling off this lap, and it appears he will. Pace car is off. 75 leads Gale, leads Atkins, leads Hallec, leads Oxendine. That is your top 5. 4 Dodge, Dodge, 4 Dodge. As the field comes to the restart zone, the green flag's back out, and we're racing again for lap number 12 of 81.
Stephen Gale is trying to make a move early for position on the 75.
And it looks like it'll work. He's got help from the other Red Bull and Jack Hallec, but will it stick? Gale's got the advantage off of 2, and he will clear. Stephen Gale is your new race leader as Hallec makes a move for 2nd on his teammate in the 75. Gale leads that lap from the 75 and the 4, both Red Bulls in hot pursuit of the Flex Seal Dodge as Stephen Gale continues to lead. I wonder what got Stephen Gale to get such a good run, but here comes Oxendine now on Jack Hallec. We said how good Oxendine was on these 1.5 miles. And he's starting the show. He started 8th, and he's already challenging your pole sitter Jack Hallec for 3rd place.
Yeah, these Red Bulls have been flying, but Oxendine has been so consistent at these tracks. It's no surprise that he's been doing good so far this race.
And after such a dismal performance at Pikes Peak, where he managed to unlap himself from the leader then, Henry Thomas, now he's going to try and fight for the lead himself as we see Gale continue to lead from the 75 and from the 9 of Oxendine. There's still plenty of time in this race. We still got under about 65 laps to go. There's still plenty of time for anybody to make a move at this stage of the race.
Jack Hallec is falling back a little. He could have made another one of those errors, or Oxendine is just too good, and he's pulling away. As you can see, the two leaders were going out of frame momentarily.
And you can see that also Duke Anzac breathing down the neck of Jack Hallec for 4th place. And not far behind them are Bobo Jones and Caden Atkins trying to take the spot away. As now Oxendine tries to make a move. There's a little bit of contact, but doesn't get the position on that lap. He's going to need a lot more to try and get by the Charging Bull in 2nd place. But he's going to try it again in turn 3.
Yeah, that was another instance, like with the incident involving Thomas, where it wasn't quite as severe, but mistakes like some real.
Looks like it's going to work though for Oxendine as he gets underneath the Red Bull in the 75, and it looks like Gale, he will be able to clear coming out of turn 2, and he will. But now, will Oxendine have anything for the dodge of Stephen Gale as they're starting to bunch up? We've got 7 cars under a blanket now for the lead going into 3.
Yeah, fighting for track position can often result in a bunch of drivers losing time, as you can see here. Stephen Gale starting to pull away. But previous to that, it was a little bit silent up in 1st place.
It will be for now, as now the battle's between the two Red Bulls. Hallec on the inside and the 75 on the outside. They're both dicing for positions. Jack Porkins now tries to take the spot away. He had a rough outing at Pikes Peak, trying to rebound from that, as Bobo Jones has had nothing but bad outings up until Pikes Peak, and now he's going to try and get into the top 5.
Yeah, Bobo Jones is also one of those guys that are just completely flying at this 1.5 mile oval. As you can see here, Oxendine is trying to make a move on the 52 of Stephen Gale.
Going to be tough to pass, though. We've seen him try and make a move before, and it hasn't quite worked out. However, if anyone's going to make a move past that 52, it's the number 9 of Oxendine, and he's got quite a bit of a run as well. We'll see if it works, but for now, Gale leads lap 20.
So far, he's been pretty good at defending and parking the bus right in the middle of the corner. But Oxendine has been making overtakes left and right in this race. So hopefully...
But he's starting to drop back a little bit now. Is he perhaps saving his tires? No, not even close. As I say that, he makes a jump on the outside. Going to try and get the momentum around. He's going to cross from the outside down to the inside. Not going to be enough. Stephen Gale continues to lead.
It was the good effort with good momentum from Oxendine, but it just wasn't enough. Stephen Gale carrying just enough speed to stay ahead on the front stretch.
An update on the middle part of the field now. You can see it. Bobo Jones has gotten around Jack Hallec, so Hallec has dropped back to 5th place. Under battle from Duke Anzac for that position, as the battle for the lead continues to be as tight as ever between Oxendine in the 9 and Gale in the 52. A pair of dodges, neither with a win this season, and Oxendine's just had a string of terrible, terrible luck. I believe he did get a top 10 at Daytona, but I believe that's about it as far as success he's had on the racetrack this season.
And Bobo Jones is looking like he's going to make a move soon on that 75, but hopefully we will see him move up and start to try and challenge these two dodges for the lead.
If anyone's going to do that, it's going to be Bobo Jones, because he's also one of these guys that shines on these kinds of tracks, and he has gotten by the 75, but Jones is up to 3rd. We'll see what he can do now with these front cars, and Jones has cut that lead down, took a half second out of it. That last lap alone, Jones is flying.
Yeah, these Red Bulls are starting to drop back. But hopefully they will create some nice attention, and we can see them still in contention, as you can see Duke Anzac trying to make a move on Hallec.
As we see another battle, this time for 7th position, all the way back to about, oh my goodness, we've got a whole bunch of cars here. Honcho, Porkins, Caggiano, I couldn't count the rest. Well, right now, it is Oxendine, but we can see as the lead continues this battle, as I was mentioning earlier, besides those 3, you've got Atkins, Christian in 11, Justin Hutchinson has gained 10 spots already. He's up to 12th now. Beal in the 37, Nick Ortiz is there. He's dropped back a little bit, but he's hanging in there in the top 15. These cars are all battling for 7th place. It's anyone's guess as to who can get that.
It's been a pretty consistent run for that 28 car. He's one of those other drivers who shines, but he didn't have a particularly good outing in qualifying, as the gap increases from Gale to Oxendean.
But it's closed right back up again as they go into turn 1 and 2. I have a feeling, though, by the time this race is over, we'll be talking about that 28 a lot in contention with the 52, 9, and 13. As we go into 3, the lead is about the same as it was the previous lap. Oxendean still hounding Stephen Gale's bumper, trying to find an opening to get by, but for now, Stephen Gale continues to lead.
Bobo Jones fell back a few hundreds, but he's still very much... Oh, and as I say that, he gains 3/10. He's very good at this track, and you can see he's catching up a tremendous amount to the leaders, as you might see him in striking distance.
Oh, he's more than in striking distance. He was about to pass Oxendean right there. Will they work together to try and get past Stephen Gale, or is Jones going to try and get past Oxendean and see if he can do what Oxendean couldn't?
It should be a good battle, as he is going to try and make a move down on the bottom, and he does. I was about to say he's not going to make it stick, but he is going to keep it in there, and he might make it stick right here. Maybe, perhaps, with the help of Stephen Gale, and he is going to get that position. And as I say that, Oxendean is on the outside.
A power move around the outside by Oxendean to keep the second position. But Bobo Jones still within striking distance, but even still, Stephen Gale now is still out in front of the field by about 0.2 of a second over his closest competitors in the 9 and the 13.
Bobo Jones lost some time in 3 and 4, but he's going to cut that gap down and see if he can cut down their positions.
It looks like he'll be able to. Now, lap traffic may come into play here if we have enough caution-free laps. There's Henry Thomas all by himself. He's got plenty of damage from that first incident, well off the pace. Now, the field's going to catch him at some point. As he crosses the line now, oh, they're definitely catching him. They're within half a straightaway of Henry Thomas. I'll be curious to see if that plays a factor in who gets the lead or not from this race.
Bobo Jones appears to have gotten past Oxendean, and these leaders are going to be like seconds a lap faster than Henry Thomas, so hopefully Henry Thomas doesn't get in the way too much as the lead battle continues.
But if they continue to remain side by side like that, he's going to get in somebody's way at the end of this thing. But granted, Gale knows how to make both lanes work. He made the inside work against the 75 earlier, and he made the outside work against Hallec and Anzac very early in the race when trying to get into this position. So he knows how to work both lanes. But as you can see, Thomas is right there. They're going to catch him, I believe, going into turn 1.
This might affect Stephen Gale's hold on the lead. As you can see, Oxendean right behind him, and he's going to cover that bottom lane. And Oxendean is going to make a move to the inside.
And we may have a lead change here as Oxendean finally gets under Stephen Gale. Will Thomas wash up in front of Gale again? Yes, he will, and that opens the door for both Jones and Oxendean to take the lead. Oxendean to the lead, and Bobo Jones will likely take second away. Stephen Gale's still in third place, but that lap car came at exactly the wrong time for Stephen Gale.
That has to be so frustrating, you know, when you're...
Oh, and there's contact!
Oh, and he dumps him!
Contact between the 52 and the 1, and Thomas goes around again. We see if anyone made contact with him otherwise. I don't think anyone did. That was an incredible save from Thomas to manage to keep anyone else from hitting him.
I think contact was inevitable, you know. Tempers flare, and this is a contact sport, and Henry Thomas was just completely blocking the 52 and allowed 2 cars to get by him when he had such a dominant hold on the lead for such a long time.
What I believe happened, and I will need to see a replay, but what happened, Thomas was trying to get back to the inside, and as you can see here, yeah, he was trying to get to the inside, but Gale was already there on his inside. Not much he can really do there, I don't think, trying to manage to get around that, but he manages to stay in contention with... It doesn't look like he's got any more damage on the car, so hopefully he will be able to stay in the race at the very least, but he'll definitely go a second lap down trying to repair this. And as you can see, the field bowling by 75 did a great job dodging that, but everyone managed to get away with no damage aside from Henry Thomas. That was an incredible drive.
Yeah, it was a good save, and everybody comes down the pit lane.
We knew pit stops were going to happen at some point, and they're happening right now as the field heads down pit road. We'll take a look at the pit stop cycle from this angle, and Oxendine pulls into his pit. Jones is behind him, and Gale's ahead of all of them. We'll see if the pit stops change positions. It looks like everybody's going to go for 4 tires. No reason not to. Fill it with fuel, get it enough to finish the rest of this race, and we'll see who wins the race off pit road.
Bobo Jones looks as though, yes, he has jumped Oxendine. He has come off the pit road in first place, and Hallec has also jumped Gale, and Caggiano is in 5th.
So the running order will look like this as the clouds start to cover this track, making it a little more grippier. Let's see now. Bobo Jones takes the lead of the race in the pit lane. Oxendine will run second. Jack Hallec with the #1 pit stall. He made the jump into 3rd place. Gale will be 4th, and like you said, Caggiano made his way up into the top 5 for the first time. So, and then Hutchinson with a great stop. He jumps all the way up to 6th place at this stage of the race. Nice job by the 28. Ansack will be 7th. Honcho 8th. Jacob Johnson's up to 9th. He had a great stop. And rounding out the top 10 will be Atkins. Now, I'm curious. Only 1 Red Bull's in the top 10 right now. I'm trying to figure out where the other one ended up. He looks to have had a slow pit stop. Hallec managed to get into 3rd, but I can't say the same for the other Red Bulls. He's deep in the field right now, and there he is. He's going to line up 17th.
That's never a good starting position, especially when you were so far up in the pack. But the 28, who has been pretty consistently weaving his way through the field, and we'll probably see him with a shot at the win.
That may be what Hutchinson needed to catch up with the top 5. Now, we'll be right back with the restart after this. You're not going to miss a thing. We're live from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And the lights are out on the pace car. Bobo Jones leads Thomas, Oxendine, Hallec, and Gale, your front 4. As Thomas lines up in the inside lane, Jones leads the lead lap cars in the outside lane. The pace car is pulling onto pit road. And the field's in the hands of Bobo Jones now as we head into the restart zone slowly. As we get up to speed, there's the zone, and the green flag's back out. Hopefully this time, Thomas will steer clear of the leaders, and it seems that at the very least, the top 2 or 3 will be able to clear him going into 1.
He almost got in the way of Stephen Gale again, but Stephen Gale has learned with his past experiences of Henry Thomas, as you can see, blocking the inside lane there.
But now it's Caggiano and Hutchinson that have to suffer, as well as everybody behind them. Look at them bottle up. But now Caggiano is clear. Hutchinson is clear. They're free now to chase down the top 4. But now it's Bobo Jones still leading from Oxendine, Hallec, and Gale.
Yeah, it's pretty good that Hallec has come back from his deficit. He fell back from the leaders a little bit before the pit cycle, and it's nice to see him back in this race as Hutchinson has caught up his deficit as well.
As we approach the halfway point of this race, Bobo Jones has a steady lead, but don't look now, but that Texaco Ford is coming. Justin Hutchinson, very good at this kind of racing. He won at Auto Club, and were it not for an accident at Chicago, he likely would have done well there too. But right now, he's facing down the Red Bull of Jack Hallec, trying to get by, not going to do it this time, but he does clear Caggiano to move up into the top 5.
Caggiano is also caught up to this pack up here as the top 3 continue, well, top 7 now continue to run away from the rest of the pack.
But now Oxendine's going to try and close in on Jones. I think Oxendine's got a little better car, but not by a lot. But now Hutchinson is clear of Hallec. He's going to try and chase after Stephen Gale. If he gets by Gale, I have a feeling that this race is going to blow wide open.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty much, if he gets past Gale, it's going to be pretty much a 3-horse race for the top between Oxendine, Bobo Jones, and Justin Hutchinson.
But Gale continues to hold him off for now, as the lead continues to stay at about 1/10 of a second, and the battle for 3rd is likewise staying at about 1/10. But Hutchinson makes a move, as you can see from our far shot. The gap now between the leaders and the battle for third as Hutchinson clears him. And now he is free to try and close that gap as best he can between him and the leaders.
Oxendine's going to try and make a move on Bobo Jones for the lead. It hasn't so far seemed to stick, and yeah, Bobo Jones gets by.
They've both got fast cars, but I have a feeling that the fastest car is closing in on them right now, and that's at 28.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good performance from him so far. He's in third place, and he started all the way down.
In the 22nd position.
Yeah.
Now that's an incredible charge. Remember, back when he won at Auto Club, he started back in 16th, so this would be an even better charge from him. And he, just like that, gained half a second. And as we point out, we check on the bonus point for fastest lap. You can see it at 75. Despite having a terrible pit stop and being back in 17th, he's doing pretty good laps back there. He right now has the point for fastest lap, and he's going to try and make a charge for the field, try and get back in the top 10.
It's been a pretty disappointing day for that 75, because he was up there in the top 10, and then one bad pit stop shuffles him all the way down to 17th for the restart.
But now the lead is closing still. Hutchinson cut the lead by another few tenths of a second, and he probably will close more on this lap. Trying to get by. He actually lost a tenth there. I wonder if something got loose or if he just didn't have the speed that the other two did. But I have a feeling, despite that, he's already on the bumper of Oxendine. He's going to try and get by this 9 in a hurry because he wants to resume that battle with Bobo Jones. He wants desperately to pass that 13 after a win eluded him at Daytona.
Yeah. These two have had a 1-2 finish, as you mentioned, at Daytona. And Justin wants to get the better of him this one time. As you can see, he gets by Oxendine, and he's going to resume a hunt for the 13.
They started 1-2 at Bristol as well before both had problems that caused them to fall out of that race. But now they're running 1-2 once again, and I just have a sinking feeling that one of them is going to come out of this looking a little bit worse. And I really hope we can see a clean and fast battle for the top spot as Oxendine starts to drop off.
Yeah, Oxendine just doesn't have the speed of the top two. Good as his car has been all day. But the top two are starting to close in on each other. And it should be a pretty entertaining battle.
Another driver we often talk about in contention at the Mile and a Half, Ricky Freeman Jr. He had a battle with Stephen Hunter at Chicagoland that ended in a top 10, I believe, for Freeman, and he's moved his way up into the top 10. He started back in 16th, and we've seen people win from there before. Could the day be the day for him, as Hutchinson is now erased that entire lead off of Bobo Jones. He wants this badly.
Yeah, when it comes in question the vendetta between these two drivers, they're brought back to Daytona, where Bobo Jones pipped Hutchinson, but Hutchinson looks to have a faster car as he came all the way from 22nd to second place as of right now, and that gap is getting smaller.
Hutchinson did redeem himself with a win at Auto Club, but that was in large part, he did have the fastest car, but Bobo Jones did have a bad day and finished last on the field. So he wants to be able to win a race by passing that 13 car on the racetrack to take the win away. And I feel like in a few laps that may very well happen.
Yeah, now might be the race where Justin Hutchinson gets his second win, and he gets it by passing that 13 fair and square. He's very consistent around these tracks, and Oxendine is consistently being left behind.
No one's yet gotten 2 wins on the calendar. We've had 5 different winners in 5 races. We had Jones at Daytona, Hutchinson at Auto Club. We had Christian at Bristol, the surprise winner there. Mashburn, the extra surprise winner at Chicagoland, and Thomas at Pikes Peak. As we go 3 wide now, briefly, in the battle for 4th place between Antzak, Caggiano, and Gale. But now the lead is gone. Hutchinson is dogging the back bumper at that 13. He wants this one really bad.
He's going to try and set that 13 up to possibly make a mistake or just brute force his way around the outside or down the inside. whichever way he feels is necessary. And he's been doing a very, very, very good job so far in this race.
He desperately wants to return the star car to victory lane. He did it at Auto Club, and he seems to want to become the master of the West Coast. As he won at Auto Club, and now he's going to try and go for one here as well. At Las Vegas, not too far away from where we held our second race. As now, the gap seems to grow at some points on the lap, but then it shrinks right back down again as they come off of 4 to hit the start-finish line and start a new lap. We've got a battle for position now. Sorry to interrupt, between Anzac, Gale, and Caggiano again, but now Atkins, Freeman, and it looks like the 71's making a charge, and that's an incredible drive for that team because they started back in 33rd. They've already gained 23 spots. That's more than Hutchinson's gained. It's an incredible drive by the Shark Energy car trying to make his way through the field as well.
Yeah, they're pretty consistent, but they're definitely not as fast as that 28 car, hounding that 13 down in first place.
It's not going to be a race-winning move, I don't think, but it's going to be a top 10 run unless something happens, and that'll be good to see. Looking back for the rest of the field, you can see the 75 has not made up that much ground. He's back in 21st. Jack Hallec's also dropped back. They're both Red Bulls out of the top 10 now. Hallec in 13th. Ortiz has dropped back a bit too, down to 25th, but the battle continues to be within the top 10 between Jones, Hutchinson, and to an extent back through the field in the fourth place battles. Probably it has more cars, but this is the most consequential one. This is the one for the lead, and Hutchinson wants it.
Yeah, these two, as I've mentioned a lot, really are trying to best each other. Both rookies, both trying to contend for Rookie of the Year.
As we've got a battle now, Hutchinson's got to run. Can he make it stick? He's got the inside. There looks like they're going to be side by side coming off of corner number 4. Who's going to get the edge?
Hutchinson's going to lead the lap, and he's going to clear him as well. So Hutchinson now into the lead of the race.
And I don't think, unless something terrible happens to that car, I don't think he's going to lose it either. Because while Jones has had a very fast car, there's no denying that, I don't think it's going to be enough to stop this star car of Justin Hutchinson from walking away with this one. We come to 20 laps to go now. There's still plenty of time for something to happen, but if things keep going the way they are now, it appears that 28 is going to be golden.
Yeah, he's been pretty much dominant all day. That 13 car, at least dominant in this after the pit cycle is. Henry Thomas might get in the way of Bobo Jones here.
Oh, he definitely will. Oh, and he had to wait a little bit to make that run, and that's just going to let Hutchinson extend that lead more. It's up to half a second now, and it's probably going to gain more. Thomas has not had the pace their leaders have had ever since their contact with Stephen Gale early, and even with Stephen Hunter at the beginning of the race. So Thomas should just stay out of the way, just run some laps, try and keep up minimum speed, just bring the car home and get ready for Motegi.
Yeah, he's not been particularly fast, and he hasn't really had a chance, the poor guy.
He did get a win at Pikes Peak though, so he's still coming off of that, and he'll have another chance at a solid result at Motegi, but for now he just needs to stay out of the way. Now look at this run. Paul McKinney in the 34, he started last, and he's challenging for a top 10 spot. Chris Maley just passed him, but that's a solid run from that 34, who I don't believe has had a top 10 yet this season.
Yeah, it's a pretty good race pace from him. It'll be exciting to see where he takes that momentum.
And unfortunately, the opposite of momentum has gone to Jack Hallec as he falls further behind. He's running in about 13th place, which is definitely not where he and the team expected to run or wanted to run. But that's where they're running right now, as right now, Hutchinson continues to command the field going into turn 1 once again.
Second place is a good result, but I don't think that 13 would have wanted to get that result today, especially since they were leading a good chunk of the race. as Hutchinson just continues to draw his lead.
Gap's almost 2 seconds now. This 28's flying. Unless we get a caution flag, which could still happen. We've still got about 15 laps left. But we're going to expect to see this 28 in victory lane if that does not happen.
Yeah, he's been pretty ridiculously dominant. We've seen many dominant leaders over the course of this race, with the exception of Stephen Gale, who is being hounded by Oxenbeam pretty much the entire duration of his lead. But yeah, the 28 continues to gain ground.
Yeah, other than the two Red Bulls who led early, it's been pretty much followed a leader between some dominant cars, and they're all still in the top 10. As with smoke, there's got a heavy crash on the back straightaway. Hutchinson manages to get through. Jones gets through. There's a lot of cars involved in this one. Ortiz is involved. Mashburn's involved in the 72. This is a very serious accident. We're going to need a replay of this. There's Christian in the 8. He's involved. We're going to need to see a replay of this. This is a heavy crash to bring out a caution flag here.
His right side door panel is completely crushed in, and I'm pretty glad that that's not the other door panel, because otherwise he could have sustained some pretty serious injuries as he's driving the car back into the garage.
Let's see what happened now. He was running 15th. Does it start with him, or does it start well ahead? I think it starts... Yeah, it starts ahead of him. And, oh, it's Gale and Atkins. And Herman's involved, too. And, oh, my God, Atkins upside down again. Oh, and that's vicious. Ortiz is involved. Honcho's in there. Ace, Luchin, Beal. I can't even count how many cars are involved in this. Look at that melee.
That's a pretty serious pile-up, and it seems as Caden Atkins has vertigo because he's flipped over so many times. And yeah, this is a pretty vicious pile-up, probably taking a lot of cars out of this race.
We need to see where this starts. Oh, yep. Oh, and there's the Red Bull as well with the 75. His streak of top 10 finishes will come to an end today. It looks like King's involved, Blair's in it, Beal, like I said. Let's see where this starts. I think it starts with Atkins. Yes, it does, and he just gets into Gale a little bit. They go into the wall. And who hits Atkins? And it's Christian who hits him square in the driver's side door, sending him up and over. And Seth Taylor also went upside down. Oh, what a wreck. Not many people are going to make it out of this. Hunter's involved. The 75's out of the race. What a wreck. What a massive pileup.
Yeah, hopefully he's okay.
Hopefully everybody involved is uninjured. We're looking at the few survivors of this. Atkins in particular, he took a driver's side T-bone to the door by, I believe, Christian. Yeah, there was just not much room there. There's just not much room between those cars. They both hit the wall together, coming together. Oh, yeah, and he got hit twice in the driver's side door by Herman. And he got hit again by Hunter. I'm really hoping that Atkins is okay after that vicious blow, and the rest just pile in right after.
Yeah, we've seen a pretty vicious crash in the past with Paul McKinney blasting into the driver's door side of a different car.
Of Xavier, a Chicagoland. Yeah, Xavier was okay for a few bruises, but that was only one hit to the driver's side door. Atkins took 3, and I'm really hoping he can survive. We've got plenty of drivers out. We've got Porkins out, Christian, Ortiz, Hunter, Ace, Honcho, Atkins, like we said. Gale is out. Look at that. And there's a page 2 to this. Herman is out. Taylor is out. Miles Mashburn's out. And Cal Farrell was already out with a mechanical failure. But still, 11 cars falling victim to this crash. Terrible, terrible accident at Las Vegas. Hoping for the best, and especially for Caden Atkins. Hoping he can make a swift recovery.
I'm pretty concerned about him, but we've had crashes like these in the past. Not necessarily with as much impacts as he had, but those drivers turned out to be fine. Hopefully he will resume competition next week at Motegi.
We've got the 1 to go signal now. After a brief stoppage for the accident, Henry Thomas is still continuing on. He managed to dodge the massive melee. But Hutchinson, I'm amazed that Hutchinson and Jones in particular steered clear of that. They were blasting through that at top speed. With now a limited number of cars remaining. Only 21 still on the racetrack. Only 21 cars still on track. We've got Hutchinson leading, Jones in second position, Oxendine third, Anzac is in fourth, Caggiano in fifth place, the 71 car in sixth. Chris Maley's doing a nice job running up in seventh place, Josh Drake in eighth, Ricky Freeman Jr. ninth, and Paul McKinney in his solid run from last place rounds out the top 10. As the field now bunches up behind the pace car, we're ready to go racing again. Pace car is coming out of turn 4. He pulls into pit lane, leaves us in the hands of Justin Hutchinson once again. As that lead is now gone, that opens the door now for Oxendine and Jones and maybe a few others to try and take the lead. As we're back racing once again, we're coming to 11 laps to go. Hutchinson's starting to pull away already.
I won't be surprised if there's a fight, but I definitely see that 28 car winning this race. Because he's just been so ridiculously dominant.
As Thomas once again stacks the field up from fifth on back, pardon me. As the top 5 manages to pull away, it's now Hutchinson, Jones, Oxendine, and Anzac 1 through 4, and then that 71 car managing to have a solid run up in the top 5.
Yeah, these restarts are really killing the reputation of Henry Thomas because he keeps getting in the way of people.
It's not entirely his fault though. He's got a lot of front end damage, a good amount of rear end damage as well, just trying to maintain minimum speed. He may have already been black flagged for that at some point in the race. He may get a penalty, but I hope he'll be fine, but he may get a penalty just for minimum speed. But he should get out of the way pretty quickly though, as we approach now 8 laps remaining in the race.
Yeah, hopefully we don't see any more incidents involving that one car.
Or just in general, but right now it's the top 3 are continuing to pull away. We mentioned at the top of the show before the race even started, these 3 were the ones to keep an eye on, and now all 3 are running 1, 2, 3 with now 7 to go.
Oxendine is pulling the gap closer and closer shut as Bobo Jones gained a lot of time on Hutchinson. Maybe a mistake, and he's going to try and make a move to the inside with help from Oxendine, but Justin Hutchinson swings it cleanly around the outside and maintains position.
Coming off of corner number 4, they're going to see the flag. It's going to be about 6 laps to go, and right now it appears that Hutchinson's got this race in hand unless something pops up, but he's got about a 3/10 lead, and it doesn't look like Jones and Oxendine are willing to play nice together. But Anzac's starting to close in too, and we haven't talked about him much other than being a support character in the story of this race. But he wants to insert himself as the surprise winner, and he may get there, but he's starting to run out of laps. We've got about 6 to go.
Yeah, these 3 have had pretty commanding starts, and Anzac has also made a pretty good margin of that gap up, but he doesn't have... I don't think, personally, he has enough time to make a move. Maybe on Oxendine, but definitely not on Hutchinson.
Yeah, he may get up to 3rd, but that's as far as you get as we come to 5 laps to go, and the caution flag is out! Something's popped up, and this may be the end of the race. Unless we can get this restarted very quickly, and it looks like it was Chris Maley that got into that made contact. He's well back in the field, and he restarted in the top 10. Freeman. And I don't think there's any question there. Freeman just doored him. Freeman just doored him going into 1. And Maley had just had nowhere to go, and he went into the wall. And it killed such a solid run for the 44 car. Went from a top 10 now to most likely a finish in the lower 20s.
Yeah, a lot of these cars are out of the races, so probably lower 20s is the worst thing you can get.
Actually, I believe with as few laps as we have remaining, and that this being a fairly minor yellow flag, we may have a 1-lap shootout to decide this race between the lead lap cars here. We may get 1 lap to decide this race.
That's going to be very entertaining.
I'm
just a one-lap brawl.
I'm just getting word from Race Control. That is exactly what's happening. We're gonna have one lap shootout to decide this race, and we will be live when that happens. So stick with us. You're not gonna want to miss this thriller of a final lap at and I think that's who this race is gonna be between. I don't think anyone's gonna square up. Anzac could surprise us. He often does, but unless something happens between the top three, as we take the green flag and the white flag simultaneously, Hutchinson gets a good jump on Jones as we take the green and white flags.
Any moves that need to be made, they need to be made now.
Jones is hounding him, but will it be enough as we get off of turn 2? Hutchinson's got to run. Jones is dogging him. Will he make a move? He's got to run. He's going to make a move.
He's gonna try and dive down to the inside.
It's not gonna work though. He's gotten too far back, and coming off of turn 4, Hutchinson finally gets the edge on Bobo Jones after Daytona, and Justin Hutchinson wins at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Finally, he can say he's gotten the edge on Bobo Jones.
Good race from these two, but in the end, Hutchinson comes out on top.
Oxendine gets his first top 5 of the season in 3rd place. Anzac manages to get 4th place. 71 managed to get his second top 5 of the season in 5th place. Solid effort from him after starting 33rd. Josh Drake started all the way back in the field as well. He started 32nd and he finished 6th. Caggiano was top 10 all day. He finished 7th. Ricky Freeman Jr. finished 8th, though I'm not sure if he'll stay there, not necessarily. We'll see what the officials have to say. Jacob Johnson had a solid result, too, in 9th place, and Jeffrey Finguy rounds out your top 10. What a race. What a race. We've had some great battles for the lead. We've had some chilling accidents, and we're hoping still for the best news from Caden Atkins after that horrible wreck, but we can't let that wreck be the deciding factor of this race. It was all Justin Hutchinson today.
Yeah. It's been a thriller, and this, with such high speeds, a wreck was inevitable, but we didn't think it would be at this magnitude. And we hope for the safety of Caden Atkins and all the other drivers involved in that wreck.
It looks like all drivers aside from Atkins have been checked and released. We're still waiting for word on his condition, and as soon as we get it, we'll pass it along to you. So from Kevin Carter and myself, thank you for watching, everybody. It's been a great race at Las Vegas, and we'll see you across the ocean in Japan for our 7th race on the calendar.